Okay. So just to kind of get us started, or just to sort of talk a little bit, I just mentioned that, I went out for a walk with the dog, and what was interesting or odd for me today, or whatever, um, hey, Kayla, I was feeling, I don't know, out of balance today. And I don't really know, or I didn't know why. I mean, I have some ideas about why, but what I did was, when I went out with the dog, and I really tried to sort of focus in on, okay, so kind of why do I feel this sense of being off balance? What is sort of happening for me today? And so I try to kind of engage in a walking meditation. In other words, when I went out, I was really trying to focus on, the breeze. It was, as I got down by the lake, especially, it was pretty windy, and just everything around it. The ice is completely out on the lake now, so sort of the transition. And as I walked, that sense of being out of balance, it started to fade. But I tried to sort of examine it and look at it while I was kind of in this state. And in kind of Buddhist thought, they talk about the hindrance. There are five that they list: anger and lust and greed and things of that nature. And I started to, and this sort of came on me yesterday, and I started to think about this, and I started to just try to look at it, and I started to sort of recognize that I had a sense of this self-doubt that was sort of arising, which for me has been an issue in a lot of ways for my whole life. And especially sort of I've been engaging a lot in doing the meditations, and in sort of this kind of teaching and doing it for myself. And and I think because I've been doing it a lot and doing a lot of writing and doing a lot of studying with it and applying it to everything, I started to get what I call and what is called imposter syndrome, which I have from time to time, and it sort of rises up. And one of the things I tried to do with that, as I sort of, I don't know, that sort of rose in me, it's that sense of self-doubt, is, I really tried to just let it go and to just focus on the actual actions of kind of what it is, and kind of what I was doing and what was around me, and just sort of taking in everything. I really started to try to concentrate. And, I found what was interesting is by the end of the walk, it was gone. That sense of being out of balance was gone. It'll probably return at some time. I don't know that I've sort of completely dealt with it, but for me, it was an experiential lesson in, a doubt can be a hindrance, because there was a time I probably would have processed it differently, but that recognizing it and sort of seeing it, and just in a sense, just not attaching to it, not constantly thinking, should I be doing this? Do I know enough about this? Who am I to lead this group? Who am I to talk to all these people about these kinds of things? And to recognize that we all do this together as a collective and as a group, and that we get out of it what we get out of it. And the experience just sort of sits there with us. And to, in a sense, reseed myself with a sense of, the ability that it's worthwhile, regardless of when I feel out of balance at times, and to try to remember that moment of being able to let it go. So it was an interesting moment, and it sort of reinforces my notion that engaging in this and spending the time to engage in this, at least for me in my own experience, has continuing value, and I think allows me to negotiate those hindrances, whatever they are. This one happened to be self-doubt or imposter syndrome. I don't think the Buddhists ever used that term, but was what came up for me. But to allow us to sort of let go of that, to allow me to let go of it. I thought that was kind of interesting. And there's more to my story, but this would take too long to go. So we'll just sort of leave it at that and sort of begin our meditation, really kind of with the focus of kind of whatever arises, whatever hindrance we seek, whatever is there for you, is that the process of focused attention, the process of looking at it, the ability to try to see it without attaching too much to it really can be beneficial in terms of allowing us to move forward. So, anyway, with all that, we'll begin. So, I think I have my watch set. Let me get it started, and we will get started. And where's my watch thing here? All right. So, let us get ourselves seated and comfortable and sort of just sitting back in our chairs or sitting on our beds or um, getting in a place where we feel a sense of connection and centeredness. As always, engage your senses, engage whatever you're feeling, your tactile sensation, sort of sitting on the chair, your arms on the armrests if you have them, your arms laying across on your belly or sitting in a lotus position, however you are, and sort of just feel your body. Really kind of let's tune ourselves in to those sensations, the temperature in the room that you're in, the sounds that arise, even though it's probably quiet, but whatever sort of sounds are there, and paying attention to those things and center ourselves in our environment and with our senses, be they tactile sensations or olfactory sensations or visual sensations. Even with our eyes closed, we still see, things still arise for us. And let's just put ourselves in that place and take a deep breath and follow our breath in, slowly coming in, around, centering ourselves, and coming out. And again, the breath coming in, feeling the air from wherever you are, entering your body. See that air rolling through, up around your nose, around, down to the exchange point. The breath out as your lungs compress, your belly compresses, feeling it. Put your hands on your belly and feel the breath as it comes in and your stomach rises. And as it goes out and your stomach goes down. And each time you do that, focus on the breath and the sensation of your belly moving, and center yourself and center your mind and slow everything down. Slow it down to half speed, to quarter speed, to whatever slow speed sort of fits your level of comfort and centeredness, and work to stay there. Now, as you sit, allow whatever is in your mind, in your consciousness, is breaking through to arise. Much like the sun comes up every morning and rises, or the moon comes up when it does and rises, or the wind comes across you and goes across you. Allow whatever is in your mind to follow that pattern and to come up and to see it, look at it, twirl it around, spin it, see what it's telling you, see where it starts from. Try to find or see the root of it. What is it? What label would you place on it? Is it a thought? Is it a pleasant thought? It is an unpleasant thought. What is there for you? Let it come up and let it dissipate. Let it float away. You can even wave it goodbye as it goes on its merry way. And on this very, very nice and warm up north, anyway, spring day, place yourself outside. Place yourself sitting on a picnic blanket, something fleece covered, perhaps, soft, some bright color, perhaps a pastel shade. And place yourself on there and sit in a lotus position, hands on your lap. And as you breathe, take in the air, take in this warm spring air. Breathe it in. Perhaps placing yourself now in an environment that's near a lake, a river, the ocean, anywhere there's a large or moving body of water. Hear the water, listen for it. If you're at the ocean, hear the waves roll in, see the white foam, feel the waves roll out. If you're by a lake, see the choppiness of the lake as the wind blows across it. Follow the shoreline around. Perhaps see the rocks on the lake edge. See the birds, gulls, ducks, geese, whatever's there. See them flying over the water, landing on the water. Hear the splash as they land. If you place yourself in front of a river or a creek, especially in springtime when the creek is high and the river and the water is running rapidly, hear the water running over the rocks. See the little whitecaps as they go through narrow areas, around rocks. Just focus your attention on the movement of the water, whatever water you're looking at. See the movement. Envision it in your mind. Hear the water, the sound that it makes as it runs through. Smell the water. In whatever way an odor arises. If you're at the ocean, the smell of the salt water. If you're by a river, perhaps all the vegetation that's around the river as it rolls down and through the gully that it creates. Feel the emotions that are evoked by the environment. What rises up in you? What does it evoke? Where do you feel it? Where in your body does it sit? Perhaps you feel a sense of calm and peace because of the water. Where do you feel that in your body? Where is the connection between that feeling of calm and peace and the water? How do we experience that? What thoughts rise as you sit there? Close your eyes in this space so you have no visual sense, only what your mind conjures up. What visions roll across the screen on your mind? What do you see? What arises? What passes by? Allow that to occur. And sit there, eyes closed. Now focusing your attention on your hearing. What sounds arise? What are the sounds of the environment? Is it people as they are walking by, sitting next to you? Kids running around, playing, people tossing a football or a baseball back and forth, hearing the pounding of the ball in their hands or in the glove. And again, what does this evoke? What emotions arise? What thoughts arise? Allow them to raise up and look at them. And as we look at these emotions, think of them as a plant or a weed, even depending on what they are. And follow the root down. Where does the root go? Where does it come from? Where is it? Where does it originate? Does it originate from some event earlier today? Some long-standing thing that you hold and shows up every once in a while? Some event, a thing that happened that gets translated and arises in you. See that root. See the original seed that was planted to get you here. Note that in your own garden of your mind, of your consciousness, however you want to picture this, there are many seeds. There are seeds that beautiful flowers come out of, and we see them. There are seeds when rotten tomatoes or vegetables arise, and we see those. There are seeds that are just grasses that are neutral, and we see those. But all that arises on the day, on the moment that you have, comes from those seeds that are planted. And we see them. And we stand up from where we are by the beach or by the lake or by the river, wherever we are. We move ourselves into a field. And we step out of the woods, out of the forest, into an open field. So behind us are trees, shade, perhaps a sense of coolness. And out into this field is the sunlight. And for as far as we can see, almost like a prairie, are all sorts of vegetation and flowers and grasses. Seeds that have been carried to this place, dropped, and over time, that bear fruit, that bear flowers, that bear leaves. Some may be poison ivy or poison sumac or things that are noxious. Some may be things that are sweet smelling, flowers that have sweet smelling odors and beautiful colors. Some may be just green grass growing high, blowing back and forth in the wind. They're neither good nor bad. In this field, too, there are insects and snakes and all sorts of little critters. And we have to negotiate all of that. We walk through it. We look to make sure that we're not stepping on a snake or a beehive so that we don't get stung or bitten. We come and see the flowers, come and smell the flowers. We see the beauty, perhaps irises or sunflowers, and we see them. And those too all have seeds. And those seeds are ready to be replanted, perhaps right in that field, perhaps somewhere else, perhaps in us. And we move ourselves now into a garden that because it's spring has yet to have been planted. And next to us and near us, there's a bin with seeds, all sorts of seeds. We're not always sure even what the seeds are, but we have some sense of them. And as we view them, we can uncover the labels for what they are so that we can see them. And as we're about to plant these seeds, we know that they will grow eventually into that fruit. So we think about what seeds we want to plant. Perhaps we can think of the seeds metaphorically. Seeds for vegetables that are life-giving, squash, potatoes, tomatoes, green beans. We plant those because they're life-giving. Perhaps we could think of them as kindness, forgiveness, openness, clarity. And so we take them and we plant them, knowing that it allows us and gives us an opportunity to have these vegetables, these beautiful things, these things that comfort us in the future. We put them there. And there are seeds too for poison ivy or little eggs that might hatch beetles that will eat our garden, chew on the leaves. And inadvertently, sometimes we drop those in there. We don't always want what they bring, but we drop them. And they too will grow if we drop them, if we nurture them. So we walk over to our watering can or our hose. We turn the spigot on. It's spring, so it's no longer frozen. The water will flow. We hear the water flowing into the bucket. We pick it up. And we drop the water over our seeds. And we try to be careful not to drop it on the poison ivy seeds, not to drop it on the weeds that will choke the other seeds. But we can get lost at times, and that can happen. And we stand back. We look at our garden. And we sit down on the ground or on a brick or a rock or a little bench that perhaps we have near our garden. And we close our eyes. And we envision what this will look like in the future. We envision the seeds we drop in ourselves each day, what they will produce in the future. And we see what is arising at the moment to understand what are the seeds that we have planted earlier that are now grown. And we recognize that with this day in this garden, and in every day, in every garden, we have an opportunity to nurture and plant seeds. And so we plant those seeds, and we sit by our garden, and we close our eyes, and we breathe in, and we breathe out, and we center ourselves, and we focus our attention. And we feel our breath coming in, and we center ourselves, and we focus. And if our mind wanders, we label it and draw it back. And we breathe in. We breathe out. And we slowly come back and open our eyes. Namaste. May the light in me shine in you.